Do you want to know what the smartest coilover system you can put on your Bronco is? Well, this video's for you. So,
let's get started.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Nick, aka Dad. Hey, if you've been following us, you've seen that we did an unboxing of the Icon CDEV coilovers. We did the front last episode, and now this week we're getting started on the rear of the Bronco. Now there's a couple modifications we're going to need to make because there's a piece on the Bronco that I've added that I don't want to lose, just from a protection side of things. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get these tires and wheels off, but before we do that, we got to get it jacked up, put some stands underneath it. The next step then is getting the inner fender liner out, this plastic piece. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, a trim removal tool, and a 7mm socket, because there's a little screw that holds this inner fender liner in towards the front of the vehicle. So let's get those tools, get this inner fender liner out. Now, one thing you may need to do is use the trim removal tool to get behind these little plastic fasteners that they have, where it's got the head like the body like this, the plastic screw that goes in the center of that. You may have to get behind that, put some tension on that little kind of base to be able to pull up and get that head started. Everyone knows how much I really dislike these plastic fasteners. They strip out easy and just become a pain to remove. So let me keep moving on with getting the rest of these fasteners out. Well, we got all of these little fasteners out. I broke all of them except one. So hey, that's probably pretty good for me. Probably replace them with Christmas tree clips, or we've got another product here in the garage I may just install here. Up top though, there is this fastener here. It's basically like a nut, just a plastic nut. You need to take that out. But what I did find out was I was getting ready to remove this, and they actually hid a little 7mm screw right up behind the rock rail. And I don't feel like taking off the rock rail. So we're gonna try our crescent wrench, adjustable pliers, see if we can get that thing out without having to take off our rock rail. All right, so here's an update for you. This little shield piece, get it to where you can see it a little bit better. So this was the offending piece, this little plastic piece that goes inside here. It actually sits kind of like this in here, if I remember right. Something like this. Yeah, like that. Well, they hid a 7mm headed screw up through here, and our rock rail goes, you know, to about here. So you can't get a socket back there. So we ended up taking off the rock rail to get to that. Now, if you have side steps, maybe this is a little bit easier to get to since they hang down a little bit more. But yeah, to get to that, had to take off our rock rail to get the whole liner out. So now that we have this 7mm headed screw out of here, now I can get back to getting up the coilover, which is, we got 3 top bolts, and then we got the major big bolt here at the bottom, which I believe is like a 21mm. So we'll get to that, but I'll make sure before we start exactly what you'll need for this step. All right, so to remove our coilover, the top bolts are 15mm, and the bottom one is a 27mm. Now, I went to my box, and lo and behold, I did have a 27mm. It is the largest socket I have, so hopefully that'll work out. Note though, up top here, at least this first one that's closest to the outside, there's not a whole lot of space in here. I would say there's probably maybe 1.5 inches, so to get a socket and a ratchet on that is going to be difficult. You may need to use a box wrench, or if you've got one of these little guys, this is from Harbor Freight. It's where, you know, the socket actually goes through the head a little bit. If you got one of these, this might save you a little bit of headache of getting that front one out. Well, we have the nut off. It wasn't easy. Let me give you a quick tip of what not to do when you're doing this, because you need to support the axle. So we've got the jack supporting the body of the Bronco, but don't put your floor jack so close to where the bolt comes out that you can't get in an impact, and you end up having to use a ratchet. Good thing I had a long ratchet to be able to do this, and a dead blow hammer. But yeah, make sure you give yourself plenty of clearance. if you have a Harbor Freight jack like this, handle on the inside instead, give yourself a little extra room, and get as close to the pumpkin as you can just to support the axle. Well, one thing I wasn't able to do on the front was show you a side-by-side comparison, but you can see here's our driver's side coilover for the Sasquatch package, and here's our Icon CD EV. Now they are, you know, pretty similar, but you get down here, I've got top springs basically aligned as close as I can get, and you can see we've got a little bit more length out of the Icons versus the Bilsteins, which obviously you're wanting to upgrade and get a little bit of a lift. And I think we can still raise these, I believe, by about an inch, inch and a half, I think. So I'll have to go back to the tech notes on that. But once we get everything on, like I said in the first video with the front coilovers, we'll dial everything in as far as height adjustments, make sure we got plenty of clearances. Now, before we install our coilover though, Icon gives you a couple pieces we need to install first into the upper mount here, which you'll have this piece here that's got 2 studs already in it and a bolt. Now the bolt goes to the inside and the 2 studs are accessible, is what it says in the instructions, towards the outside. So we're gonna have it orientated like this, studs on the outside, and then you'll have this top hat. So this goes up and through the bottom, this sits on top. You'll need a 3/4 and 5/8 socket for this, and then they've got torque specs for both the bolt and the nuts that go on the top hat, and I believe it was around 75 foot-pounds. So let's get this installed so we can get on with putting in the coilover. Well, I've got the bolts put in, the nuts put on. I've cinched them down as far as I can get them because I don't know of a way to get these torque down, because there's no way I can get my torque wrench in there with a socket on it. So if you guys know of a way to get into really tight spaces with a torque wrench, put a comment down below, because I'm not sure. So I just went as far as I could with them. This front nut on the 3/4 inch nut here, it actually started to slip off my box wrench. So I figured that was as far as I need to go. Don't put any more torque on it. So now all we need to do is put the coilover in. We've got a pin to put up through the top here as well, which looks like this guy here. So we'll put him in, get everything situated, hopefully get everything bolted down here real quick because I've got family coming over. All right, so one thing I had wrong was I had the inner structure correct as far as putting the bolts through and the studs, but the top hat, I thought I had it right, but when I went to put the coilover in, this hole right here is where the bolt goes through the top of your coilover. I didn't have it square. It was more leaned back to where the opening, which is a bigger window, which I'll show you here. See if you can see back in there. You see that bigger hole back here, hopefully. That was more facing towards the driver's side. So there's multiple holes in this top mount. So be careful that you don't put it on the wrong mounts, because this is probably not specifically to the Bronco. They may use this for other vehicles as well. So make sure you've got this to where that bolt hole is facing pretty much straight out to the driver's side. The bolt that goes through the top of the shock, they do want you to put some anti-seize on that, as well as inside the bushing too. So you'll want to make sure you get some anti-seize on that so it can move freely. But that one is a 12-point half-inch socket, and that is 90 foot-pounds that you need to torque that down to. So yeah, make sure that you get that done before you get your tire back on, because that can be a little bit of a bear to get to once you get the tire back on. But looking over the instructions, automatically saw something that probably is going to be a problem, and it's the skid here that we have for the lower control arm in the rear. This is from Turn Off Road. I love these things. They were really easy to install. Obviously you can see I've taken a little bit of some hits to them where I've scraped off the powder coat and it's starting to rust because they're made of steel. But I got to get this guy behind here, because it won't be using those same holes, maybe something similar to it. But yeah, we've got to get this in there. And this side, driver's side, is different than the passenger side, where I thought I could use this in another spot. and just relocate the reservoirs, that would actually be up a little bit higher, which I kind of liked. It was up really between the body and the frame up in here, but the driver's side is different. The holes are different on the frame over here. So the only thing that must be the same are the holes that this goes into. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to need like a 16 millimeter for this front bolt, and I think these are 12s. So we'll get this off. I at least want to take a look at that real quick to make sure how this is going on. Now that I've got the turn-off-road lower control arm skid off, I can see how they want it. So you need to put it in a U shape, not upside down like I had it first. And I kind of put a little bit of a bend in it just because it wasn't sitting real flush. But yeah, you're going to go in like this, up through the top of the arm here and slide it down through. Nice thing is it's going to come through this oval hole here. You'll be able to see it at least and be able to grab onto it if you need to a little bit, kind of put it into place. And everything lines up with this hole back here and this hole up front. So that is how they're going to have us mount our reservoir. So now I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do about the skid that we had on here and what we can do to change that, I guess. So, but I really want to get this CDEV coilover system on, so it'll just be a necessary evil to figure this out. So let's get moving on with the whole install. Well, sorry you weren't around for the fab work. I just couldn't bring myself just to lose my skid plate from turn off road for this reservoir bracket. So I ended up using this hole for the reservoir bracket. That was one of the icons. So didn't have to do anything there, but ended up just drilling out a new hole right there. And that's using both the turn off road's lower control arm skid plate bolts. So this is I I don't know if I'll have to use this front self tapper here. I mean, that's a pretty good piece of steel. You probably can't even see it because it's not even in frame, I bet. Let me see if I can just pick up the camera. But yeah, so this whole plate, it wiggles a little bit. The only problem is, though, I see is this wiring harness. Now, I don't remember anything in the instructions about this guy being in the way, but he definitely is. Even if I use the stock location, which is pretty similar to that, you can see there's the extra hole. That's the one that comes in the icon bracket. It's not that far off. So this guy, I think I'm going to have to relocate him up a little bit higher. I've already moved this clip because he was down here. I took him out, moved him up here. I might just zip tie him to that clip there, and hopefully it kind of keeps him up and out of the way. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. That wasn't in the instructions about this wiring harness. So maybe on later models, since ours is a 21, maybe they've moved this wiring harness up higher onto the frame and it's not a big issue. So just another workaround. But well, did the test fitment, and the reservoir fits just fine. It's cradled up in there. I was a little bit worried about the clearance from the Ford OEM rock rail here, this bracket here, but we've got a little bit of clearance there. This isn't all cinched in yet with the bands that they have for it. I just wanted to test fit it. And then we also had to move this harness here. So I've got this one upside down now, pushing it up a little bit higher, and then we've got one up here as well that was right behind this. We turned this Christmas tree clip upside down too for this harness, and rewrapped it and set it up higher, so it kind of gets it out of the way. Well, you can see we've got the coilover all installed, reservoir and lines have been run. Couple things though, like I talked about, one tip was make sure you got that top mount correctly clocked. As far as the rear end, you do want to support it, but you will need to droop it quite a bit. I pretty much had the jack underneath it just to be sure it didn't drop all the way out. But in the end, when I was trying to get those lower mounts put back in, I basically didn't even have the jack touching the rear axle anymore. I was trying to push it down to get more space to be able to get that lower mount back through. So, and to get that bolt in. So yeah, just know that keep something under there just in case. Other thing I found is they give you a lot of hose on this reservoir. Now I've got it mounted in the spot that they talk about in the instructions, but I've got a lot of hose here. I mean, maybe you can see this. I've only got 2 zip ties here because it kind of kinks up here, and I'm kind of afraid that it's going to start rubbing on this body mount here. I don't know. It's just one of those things, though. Looking at the pictures that they give you, this is kind of how they have it, and the reservoir is in the right place. And like I showed you, we actually modified our reservoir so we could keep the skid plates for that lower pivot point for that lower control arm. But as long as you got this clocked correctly, it goes in pretty easily. Follow the instructions that they have. And I know they don't tell you exactly what wrenches to use. Hopefully, 18 millimeter for those top nuts, 5/8 for that interior bolt that goes up and through, and then really everything you're just putting back together. Obviously, taking the inner liner out is kind of a pain, especially with that little 7 millimeter screw that was back behind our rock rail. So we got to put those back on. But once you get everything in, yeah, it looks like it's going to function really well. We still need to get it on the ground, check ride height, see if we want to stay with where we're at, or we've got about another inch, I think, on the front, maybe 1.5 inches. And on the back, I think I've got about 1 inch that we could go, and we'll try to kind of keep it level. So stay tuned for the next video, because we got to do all the wiring for this smart suspension setup. We've got to put the Icon Intelligent Control Box underneath the hood, run the wires to each reservoir so they can automatically adjust the dampening of those. And I'm looking forward to getting this on the road just the way it is. We'll probably take it out tomorrow, see what it feels like with the new coilovers in, and then run it again with the intelligent and control box in. So looking forward to that. But if you found this video helpful in any way, whether it's the troubles that I had or just the wrenches and that you need, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Because Monk and I, we are constantly looking for tips, tricks, and products that we use on our Bronco that you can use on yours. As always, though, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.